Hello, my dear friends. It's Eli Yoder Grandma, and today I want to have a very honest conversation with you. I'm 79 years old, and after living this long, I've learned something that nobody really tells you when you're young. Getting older is beautiful, but it is not always pretty. There are things that happen to us as we age that nobody puts in the greeting card. Sometimes our bodies change. Sometimes our friendships change. Sometimes our children become busy with their own families. Sometimes the world around us changes so quickly that we wake up one morning and wonder, when did everything become so different? And sometimes the hardest changes aren't happening around us. They're happening inside us. We become more impatient. We stop trying new things. We complain more than we used to. We hold on to old memories because the present doesn't feel quite as exciting. And sometimes we quietly begin believing that because we're older, we matter less. My friends, I want you to hear me clearly. Getting older does not make you less valuable, but it does require us to become more intentional about how we live. Today, I'm going to share 12 hard truths about aging that many people don't talk about. Some of them may make you uncomfortable, some may make you laugh, and one or two might make you say, "Oh, Grandma, you caught me." And that's all right. I'm not standing here as someone who has everything figured out. I'm 79. I've made mistakes. I've had difficult seasons. I've lost people I loved. I've had days when I didn't feel like getting dressed, going anywhere, or talking to anybody. So I'm speaking to you as one older person to another, not to judge you, but to remind you that there is still so much life left to live. Let's begin. Number 1, you may start complaining more than you realize. Let's be honest. When you get older, there are plenty of things to complain about. Your knees hurt. The weather is too hot. The weather is too cold. Groceries cost too much. Young people don't behave the way they used to. The television isn't what it used to be. And somebody is always changing something that worked perfectly well before. I understand, but there's a danger when complaining becomes our default language. One complaint becomes another, then another. Before long, we wake up looking for something wrong. And here's the hard truth. If you spend every day talking about what's wrong with life, you can forget to notice what's still right. You may still have a warm bed. You may still have someone who loves you. You may still be able to enjoy your morning coffee. You may still hear birds outside your window. You may still have another sunrise waiting for you. Those things may sound small, but at 79, I can tell you, small blessings are not small. They are life. So I'm not telling you to pretend everything is wonderful. If you're hurting, say you're hurting. If something is wrong, deal with it. But don't let one difficult thing convince you that everything is difficult. Every morning, I want you to ask yourself one question: what is still good in my life? Find one thing, then another. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it keeps problems from becoming the only thing you see. Number 2, you can get stuck telling the same old stories. Now this one made me laugh when I first realized it. At our age, we have stories. Lots of stories. We remember the wedding, the first job, the old neighborhood, the children when they were small, that vacation from 40 years ago. And if somebody isn't careful, we can tell the same story so many times that our grandchildren could probably tell it better than we can. But memories are precious. So what's the problem? The problem isn't remembering. The problem is living entirely inside the memories. If every conversation begins with, "back when I was young," or "when things were different," we may accidentally give people the impression that our best life is already behind us. And my dear friend, It doesn't have to be. Your past deserves respect. But your present deserves attention too. Try something. Every week, do one thing you've never done before. Try a different recipe. Visit somewhere you've never been. Learn how to use a new piece of technology. Call someone you've never spoken to in years. Read a book. Plant something. Learn a song. Create a new memory. Because you don't want to reach 90 and realize that you spent the last 10 years only remembering the previous 50. Your memories are treasures, but you are still creating them. Number 3, you may stop taking care of your appearance. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you need expensive clothes. I'm not saying you need makeup. I'm not saying you need to look 30. Please don't try to look 30. You've earned every year on your face. But there is something powerful about getting up in the morning and caring for yourself. Take a bath, comb your hair, put on clean clothes, put on your favorite shirt, maybe wear that necklace you've been saving. Why? Because you're worth the effort. I've noticed something over the years. When we stop caring about ourselves on the outside, sometimes we begin neglecting ourselves on the inside too. We stop going places. We stop seeing people. We stop taking pictures. We stop participating. We start saying, "What's the point? I'm old." My dear friend, you are not invisible. You don't have to dress beautifully for other people. Dress in a way that reminds you that you're still here. When I look in the mirror at 79, I don't see the woman I was at 29, and that's perfectly fine. I see a woman who has survived things, a woman who has learned things, a woman who has loved, a woman who has lost, a woman who is still standing, and that woman deserves to be cared for. Number 4, you can become afraid of learning something new. I hear this one often. I'm too old for that. My friends, who told you? Who decided that curiosity has an expiration date? You can learn at 79. You can learn at 89. You can learn at 99. Maybe technology frustrates you. Maybe your phone has more buttons than you understand. Maybe your grandchildren have to explain something 3 times. Let them, and then ask them to explain it again. Learning something new gives you a reason to wake up curious. It reminds you that your brain is still participating in life. You don't have to become an expert. You simply need to remain curious. Learn a new recipe. Learn a new word. Learn how to send a photograph. Learn how to video call someone. Learn about another country. Learn something about your own family history. Every time you learn something new, you're telling yourself, "I'm still growing." And that's a beautiful message to give yourself at any age. Number 5, you start comparing yourself to the person you used to be. This one can break your heart. You look at an old photograph. You see yourself at 30. Your hair was different. Your body was stronger. You could walk farther. You could work all day without getting tired. And suddenly you look at yourself now and think, "What happened to me?" My dear friend, life happened, and that's not something to be ashamed of. Of course, your 79-year-old body isn't the same as your 29-year-old body. It's not supposed to be. You have lived another 50 years. You've carried responsibilities, you've worked, you've raised children, you've experienced grief, you've laughed, you've cried, you've survived. You cannot compare the beginning of the journey with the middle of it. Instead of saying, "I can't do what I used to do," try asking, "What can I still do?" Maybe you can't run, but perhaps you can walk. Maybe you can't lift what you once lifted, but perhaps you can stretch. Maybe you don't have the energy you once had, but perhaps you have more wisdom than you ever had. Your value did not disappear. It changed form. And sometimes the older we become, the more valuable our wisdom becomes. Number 6, ignoring money problems doesn't make them disappear. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Money. Some people don't want to discuss finances as they get older. They don't want their children to know. They don't want to admit they need to change their lifestyle. They keep spending the way they did when they were younger. But retirement can change everything. Bills don't disappear because we are older. And pretending everything is fine doesn't make financial pressure disappear. There is absolutely no shame in simplifying your life. None. Maybe you don't need the enormous house anymore. Maybe you don't need to buy everything you once bought. Maybe it's time to organize your expenses. Maybe it's time to ask a trusted professional for advice. Maybe it's time to stop financially rescuing everyone around you. And please hear this. Helping your family is beautiful. Destroying your own financial security to prove that you love them is not. You are allowed to protect your future. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to live within your means. Peace of mind is worth more than impressing people. Number 7, you can become too isolated. This is one of the saddest parts of aging. People disappear. Friends move. Some pass away. Children get busy. Neighbors change. And suddenly the house becomes very quiet. At first, you may enjoy the quiet. Then the quiet becomes your normal. Then days pass without speaking to anyone. And eventually you begin telling yourself, "Nobody really needs me." Please don't believe that lie. You may need to make the first move. Call someone. Send a message. Invite somebody for tea. Join a group. Attend church or a community gathering if that's meaningful to you. Talk to a neighbor. Speak to your grandchildren. And if leaving the house is difficult, use technology to stay connected. Don't wait for everyone else to remember you. Sometimes you have to remind the world that you're still here. And here's something I've learned. Sometimes the person you're waiting to call is waiting for you to call them. Number 8, you may become easily irritated. Now this one, I'm going to confess. Sometimes we older folks can become impatient. The waiter is too slow. The driver is too slow. The grandchild doesn't answer the phone. The internet isn't working. The remote control disappears. And suddenly we're angry. But here's the question. Is this really worth losing your peace over? Not everything deserves a battle. When something irritates you, pause, take a breath. Give yourself 10 seconds before responding. Ask, will this matter tomorrow? If the answer is no, let it go. Being calm doesn't mean allowing people to mistreat you. It means choosing where your energy goes. At this stage of life, your peace is precious. Don't hand it over cheaply. You have worked too hard for too many years to spend your remaining energy being angry about every little inconvenience. Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is, "It's all right. I'll let this one go." Number 9, you may live too much in the past. There's nothing wrong with nostalgia. I love looking at old photographs. I love remembering people who were important to me. I love thinking about the way things used to be. But there comes a point when remembering becomes escaping. You wake up thinking about yesterday. You spend the afternoon talking about yesterday. You go to bed wishing you could return to yesterday. And you miss today. My dear friends, yesterday is finished. You cannot go back. But today is still yours. Maybe today is quieter. Maybe today looks different. But different doesn't automatically mean worse. There is still a sunrise, still a cup of coffee, still laughter, still music, still friendship, Still something to learn, still someone you can love. So keep your memories, put them in albums, tell your grandchildren about them, but don't let the past become a prison. The past is a chapter. It is not the whole book. Number 10. You may refuse help because you want to remain independent. Now this one is difficult for proud people, and I understand. We spent decades taking care of ourselves. We worked, we raised families, we fixed things, we made decisions. So when someone says, "Let me help you," sometimes we hear, "You can't do this anymore." But that's not necessarily what they're saying. Sometimes they're saying, "I love you." Accepting help does not mean you've become useless. It means you're wise enough to recognize that nobody is completely independent. If someone offers to carry something heavy, let them. If your family wants to help with technology, let them. If you need assistance getting somewhere safely, accept it. And if you need professional advice, seek it. There is dignity in independence, but there is also dignity in knowing when to accept support. You don't have to prove your strength by making everything harder. Sometimes strength looks like saying, "Thank you. I could use some help." Number 11. You may forget that you still deserve respect. This one is very important. As we get older, sometimes people begin treating us like we're no longer capable of making decisions. And sometimes we start believing them. We stop expressing our opinions. We stop saying what we want. We allow people to speak to us disrespectfully because we don't want to cause trouble. My dear friend, getting older does not mean surrendering your dignity. You can be kind and still have boundaries. You can love your family and still say no. You can forgive someone without allowing them to repeatedly hurt you. You can be gentle without becoming invisible. At 79, I don't need to prove myself to everyone, but I do need to respect myself. And so do you. Look in the mirror and remember, I am still a person with a voice. I still have preferences. I still have dreams. I still deserve kindness. Never become so afraid of being difficult that you become completely silent. Your voice still matters. Number 12. You may stop moving because you think you're too old. And finally, we have to talk about movement. As we age, movement can become uncomfortable. Our joints hurt. Our muscles aren't as strong. We get tired faster. So we sit. Then we sit a little longer. Then we become accustomed to sitting, and eventually moving feels even harder. I'm not telling you to become an athlete. I'm not asking you to run a marathon. I'm asking you to move according to your abilities. Walk if you can, stretch if you can, dance in your kitchen, work in your garden, do gentle exercises, take the stairs if they're safe for you, move your arms while sitting. Talk to your healthcare professional about what kind of activity is appropriate for you. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is participation. Your body doesn't need punishment. It needs care. And please don't think that one small walk is meaningless. 10 minutes matters. 5 minutes matters. Getting up from the chair matters. Every little movement is a message to your body. I'm still taking care of you. The bigger lesson. So there they are. 12 hard truths about getting older. But if you notice something, none of these things are really about being old. They're about being human. You can complain at 40. You can isolate yourself at 50. You can stop learning at 30. You can live in the past at any age. The difference is that as we get older, we have less time to waste. That's why these things matter. At 79, I've learned that life becomes more precious when you understand that it isn't endless. You don't need to impress everyone. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to own everything. You don't need to look 30. You don't need to pretend you're never afraid. You don't need to prove that you can do everything alone. You simply need to live honestly. Take care of yourself. Love people. Stay curious. Protect your peace. Move your body. Keep your friendships. Ask for help when you need it. And never, ever decide that your best days are automatically behind you. Final message from Eli Yoder Grandma. My dear friends, I'm 79 years old, and if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Don't spend the rest of your life mourning the person you used to be. Honor that person. Thank that person. Remember what that person accomplished, but then turn around and meet the person you are becoming, because there is still a tomorrow. There are still people you haven't met. There are still conversations you haven't had. There are still meals you haven't tasted. There are still places you haven't seen. There are still laughs waiting for you. There may even be dreams inside you that you've forgotten. So don't close the doors simply because you're getting older. Open the window. Step outside. Call somebody. Put on your favorite clothes. Make yourself a cup of tea. Learn something. Take a walk. Tell somebody you love them. And if today wasn't a good day, try again tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing about being alive. Every morning gives us another opportunity. Before you go, I want you to do something for me. Look at those 12 things we talked about. Don't try to change everything at once. Choose one. Just one. Maybe you need to complain less. Maybe you need to call an old friend. Maybe you need to start learning again. Maybe you need to take better care of yourself. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for not being who you used to be. Whatever it is, start there. And if you're comfortable, tell me in the comments. I'm starting with number S. I would truly love to know. Because here on Eli Yoder Grandma, we're not pretending aging is always easy. We're learning how to do it with grace, with humor, with courage, and with a little wisdom gathered along the way. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. Take good care of yourself. Be gentle with your heart. And remember, 79 is not the end of the story. It's simply another chapter. And if you're still here, there are more pages to write. I'll see you in the next one. Love, Eli Yoder Grandma.